Hi, my name is John Awan, principal of Valley View Elementary School in the Roosevelt School District. We're at 7th Avenue South and Baseline. We're a K-8 school of 650 students. We've been a dual language, two-way immersion school for we're in year number 20 with our program. I'm in year number 21 at the school. And we have about 90% Latino students, and of those, about 35% interns, English language learners. Our dual language program currently is what we, or I should say Fred Genesee refers to as a delayed immersion model, and we start the Spanish-English components of language programs at 4th grade.
It is on? Okay. My name is Lisa Jansen. I'm originally from San Jose, California, and I would say that my experience with English learners began there. I grew up in a community of immigrants from pretty much all over the world, and then always knew I wanted to be a teacher. Was always fascinated with language and language acquisition. And so after I graduated from college, I got my teaching credential, and I spent time in Guatemala with a Mayan community. So they were learning not only Spanish, but also then had the incentive to learn English because many of them wanted to come to the United States to work. That was my first real experience with teaching English or dealing with a trilingual setting. Then when I moved back to the United States, I moved back to San Jose, and I began my teaching career in the primary and elementary grades as a bilingual teacher in a transitional program. So we were basically our bilingual program was K-5, but we would transition students into reading and English by 3rd grade. So that was where I spent the bulk of my time, although I also did teach structured English immersion. And then I became the coordinator for those two programs, both the English immersion and the bilingual programs at that school. In my first school, we had a majority Latino population with primarily Spanish speakers, since it was a Spanish-English dual language program. Then when I moved to Tempe, I started here in my current position as an English language learning coach. And Tempe has an incredible range of language communities. I'm not going to say exactly, but definitely in the 20s. We have that many language groups represented in our classrooms. So I support teachers who are working with those students. Currently, in the last 2 years, I've been supporting them with working within the 4-hour model and trying to figure out how to make that work and how to make sure students are successful in that setting. Also, in the interest of self-disclosure, I do have a student at Herrera in the dual language program, my son.
Good evening. My name is Sonia Long Lee, and I am Native American. I am Navajo. I grew up on the Navajo Reservation in Fort Defiance, Arizona. And my upbringing, it was very much what you might call a double-edged sword. My parents were very pro-education because of the effects that I would say my grandparents had, and the English, they couldn't speak English, and they would have so many things done to them when they were going to school that my grandfather, my grandmother would tell my parents that education is very important. And so I grew up not learning my culture, not learning my language. I grew up Catholic. I went to parochial school. I went to, I had all the luxuries that some of my cousins and my friends did not have, but I do not know how to speak my language. And so that was my first real motivator to become a teacher. In 3rd grade, I had the most outstanding, fantastic, wonderful teacher who also inspired me and just gave me I just was absorbed every day, and I wanted to be a teacher so much. I would play school, and when I got home, I'd be really anxious to go, and I would bother my father, and he would say, "Oh my gosh, let's send you to public school. Maybe you won't want to go to school." And so that was my first true account of really wanting to become a teacher. And I love it so much that I think I work too hard, but I enjoy it. I teach for the Tempe School District. I've been teaching for 14 years. Within those 14 years, I've taught kindergarten, first grade, and this year is my first year teaching third grade, and it's like being a first-year teacher all over again. I don't have any more energy to go back down. I'm not going back down to kinder and first grade. It's absolutely an amazing grade level, but I will not return. I've given my boxes away. I've said, no, take it. I'm not going to go back. And I teach at Aguilar. Aguilar Elementary is in the Kiwanis Park area of Tempe, and it is a really nice school. There's about 500 students. We did get the approval to build a new school, so we're in the process of groundbreaking and the planning and everything, and so kids are excited and they're a little anxious and they just can't wait for the bulldozers, and I can't either. And our ELL community is about 50%. I am the ILLP teacher, so I teach the students who have a composite score of intermediate, and I make sure that they don't fall back to basic. I'm that middleman to make sure that they continue with getting a proficient composite score in their language and learning that English language and really actually learning the content and that English foundation so that they can be successful learners. And I taught on the Window Rock Unified School District. That was my first year teaching back on the reservation. And when I was there was a program that they had, and it was full immersion of the Navajo language. And I thought that was really impressive. So here I go again. I tell my father, okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to get my master's degree. And that was my first year teaching, and I resigned. And my father said, oh my gosh, what is she up to again? So I came back here to Tempe, and that's when I started teaching in the Tempe School District. And I wasn't about ready to go to U of A to get my master's degree, because everybody said, don't get your master's degree from the same university that you got your undergrad in. You want to broaden your horizon, just broaden your range of understanding. So I went to an AU, and I did the satellite classes. And you can teach and get your master's at the same time, believe me, I've done it. So I got my master's degree in bilingual multicultural education, and I taught a dual immersion program at Holdeman for kindergarten, and I was the English component, and just absolutely loved it and just enjoyed how much children absolutely are sponges. It doesn't matter how old they are, because you can really impact a student that is 9 years old. Believe me, I learned that this year. I tried to avoid the intermediate grades because I felt like they needed more than I could give them, and it's not true. They need you at every grade level. And so I've been at Aguilar, this is my 4th year there, and the students that I teach, they just absolutely are consumed by passionate teachers. Passionate teachers who give them the honest truth, who are honest with them about their culture, about who they are, and just value their body, their opinions, their mind every single day. And today I was very inspired by one of my students. He said, Mrs. Long, I just love coming to school every day. And this is a kid that really just came from a broken family, and he's learning English. He's not very good, but he has the will to learn. And I asked him, I said, oh, thank you, that's a very nice compliment. Why do you enjoy coming to school? And he said, because I think our class has the best teacher because you teach in so many ways. And that just was really, I'm going to be ready tomorrow, and I'm going to go back and make sure that I do my personal best. So, that's the reason why I'm a teacher, and I hope that I can help you gain more insights on what you're getting into in your future, and just remember those children are why you're here.